welcome to Manga Corp. If you enjoy stories like this, hit that like button and subscribe.
Yoko Hatanaka. That fucking whore. The words echo in a large open room, a disco ball casting faint reflections on the checkered floor. Sai pets a dog named Billy, who calmly crunches on a glass. Eiji watches, his eyes wide with shock as Billy's teeth shatter the glass. Sai explains that Yoko Hatanaka had been sniffing around Skull even before the attack. He wanted to extract information from her, to find out if she was feeding intel to someone, if she had other friends on the outside. He had let her do as she pleased, keeping watch, tailing her. But then, shortly after, their men were attacked. Kashiwagi suggests it might have been a call-out, or perhaps a way to silence her. He clarifies that Yoko didn't just disappear, she was killed. Her job, he states, was to find information on their money and feed it to her partners. He asks Sai directly, was Yoko part of that attack? Eiji is visibly shocked by this implication. The man with dark braided hair questions how Yoko found out about their cash in the first place. Sai then presents a silver watch, holding it in a clear plastic bag. Why don't we ask the perp himself? Eiji stares, transfixed. Sai explains it's a man's watch, found in Yoko's room. He claims he doesn't know who it belongs to, but suggests it's the man Yoko was secretly seeing. Eiji looks at a phone screen, which displays a picture of Yoko Hatanaka and a man with dark, short hair. Sai believes Yoko was trying to protect someone. He couldn't get any names from her, but he wouldn't be surprised if this someone was her friend who took their money. Eiji, still reeling, demands to know if they know who owns the watch. Sai turns to Billy, asking the dog, "What do you think?" Billy growls, a low, guttural sound. Eiji, a terrible realization dawning, asks if the owner is actually in the room. He screams in disbelief. Billy continues to growl. Sai smiles. "Come on, Billy. Won't you tell your boy, Sai?" Eiji denies it. A desperate plea. Sai explains that Billy is obsessed with anything round and bouncy, especially a man's balls. He'll never let go once he sinks his teeth in. Eiji clutches his crotch, a wave of terror washing over him. He stares, speechless, as Sai gives a knowing smirk. Sai releases Billy. Eiji is paralyzed with fear, convinced he's dead. A scream rips through the night, echoing from a city street. Eiji's eyes are wide, terrified. Billy attacks Daum, who collapses to the ground, screaming in agony. Daum cries out that he has no idea what's happening, that it's not him. Sai confronts Daum, asking if he's truly behind the attacks. Daum, still on the ground, insists he was just. Sai tells Billy to stay, then offers Daum a chance to explain himself. A flashback shows Yoko Hatanaka, touching a necklace. Daum is with her, bare-chested on a bed, giving her the expensive necklace. He tells her he never thought of her as merch, and that she was the one who came onto him. Yoko sits on his lap, embracing him, telling him she doesn't need material things. She wants him, she says, and asks him to tell her about himself, about his work. She loves listening to him talk about his work. Back in the present, Daum, angry and distressed, admits he told Yoko about how they manage their money. He blames her other man, her real deal, for the double cross. Yashiro Sai, smoking a cigarette, smugly reveals he already knew all of this. He'd investigated everything about Daum, his bank accounts, his woman's, even his parents. None of it added up to the missing millions. He knew Daum was just a fool Yoko duped into spilling his guts. What he was truly hoping for was information on Yoko's real deal on the side. Eiji's mind races, sweat beading on his face. He realizes the real deal must be him, or rather, the other personality who planned the attack and used Yoko Hatanaka. If Sai finds out, Eiji knows he's screwed. Daum, crying and distressed, begs Sai for mercy. He swears he'll compensate for his mistake, pleading not to be. Sai's chilling response, "Give my regards to Yoko, won't ya? Once you're in hell." The sounds of a brutal struggle and a final scream erupt from the building. It's November 11th, a Monday. The city hums with everyday life, but for Eiji, it's been a hell of a stressful day. He's just barely escaped a dangerous situation. Meanwhile, in a dark room, a group of men are discussing a traitor who has received holy punishment. But their real anger is reserved for those two fuckers who stole the money. A man with dark tattoos, smoking a cigarette, declares they will find them and paint the town red with their blood. Eiji walks through the city, reflecting on his narrow escape from the gang. He realizes his alternate personality, Bai, is now not only suspected of murder, but also on the run for double-crossing a gang. He recounts what he's learned from infiltrating the gang, Skull. Bai and someone else worked together to rob Skull. Bai likely met her through Skull, and Yoko Hatanaka was selling her body. New mysteries emerge. Who was the other person involved in the robbery? Why would Bai betray Skull to steal money? And how are the murder of Yoko Hatanaka and the robbery at Skull related? He considers the possibility that Yoko Hatanaka was killed to silence her. In the end, Eiji concludes, the most suspicious person in all of this is still B.I. Suddenly, a voice shouts, "Boo!" right next to him. Eiji jumps, startled, then turns to see the girl with bob-cut hair. He's annoyed, demanding to know why she's there, and not to scare him. She remains silent, as she often does when he asks crucial questions. Eiji tells her to leave him alone, that he doesn't have time to waste, but she simply follows him. He asks if she's deaf, but she persists. She declares she's decided to stick with him for a while. Eiji, frustrated, tells her to get lost. She then threatens him. She says she will have to bring this to the police. Eiji is confused. She pulls out a smartphone. On the screen, a picture of a severed ear. She claims to have found it in his room, along with 30 million yen and a blood-drenched iron bat. She calmly states it's her duty as a model citizen to report brutal criminals. Eiji is shocked, demanding to know how she got into his apartment. She reveals she learned lockpicking from her burglar uncle as a child. She jokes about sending him a Christmas card when he's in jail. Eiji desperately asks why she's blackmailing him, what she wants. She then reveals her true leverage, the abduction and murder of female university student Yoko Hatanaka. She knows the police suspect Eiji, or rather, Bai, the son of the serial killer LL, is involved in the case. Eiji is stunned, asking how she knows this. She casually mentions overhearing the conversation in the school cafeteria. She presses him, "So you are, or are you not? Which is it?" Eiji notes her pattern of stopping whenever he asks crucial questions. She agrees not to go to the police, but only until the next time Bai comes out again. Eiji realizes he's trapped. He can't trust her, but with that picture, he has no choice but to let her do what she wants. She adds that women like dangerous men, implying Bai is more dangerous than Eiji. Eiji reluctantly gives in, telling her to do whatever she wants. As they walk, she mentions one more thing. She found a letter addressed to Eiji when she was searching his apartment. Eiji looks down at the envelope. It's from Kyoka. He's distressed, worried about Kyoka being dragged into this. The girl asks if his girlfriend knows about the crimes. Eiji tries to refocus them on the case. She reveals she has a lead. They arrive at a place called Hotel Noir. Inside the room, the girl holds a vibrating object. Eiji, now wearing glasses and a cap, looks shocked to be in a love hotel. She threatens him with the object if he gets any closer, clarifying they are there for the case, not for intimacy. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Eiji panics. She's here. Nami-san stands in the doorway, lowering her sunglasses with a smile. The girl tries to explain they aren't customers, but Nami-san, with a bandage on her lip, offers to negotiate the price. Eiji, taking off his glasses, asks if Nami-san recognizes him. He points at her ear. She's wearing the same earring as Yoko Hatanaka-san. Eiji addresses her as Nami-san. A disturbing image flashes. A man holding a crying woman's face, telling her that's the kind of slut they want her to become. Eiji asks Nami-san if she and Yoko-san were friends. He hopes she can give him some information about Yoko-san. Without warning, Nami-san strikes Eiji across the face. She looks down, her expression grim. "Of course I know." Eiji is stunned. She looks directly at him, her voice cold. "Eiji Urashima. Of course I'd know the murderer who slaughtered Yo-chan." Eiji Urashima is reeling from a brutal accusation. He demands to know who killed her. The blonde woman shouts the answer. It was him. She screams that Eiji Urashima is the murderer. Eiji collapses, clutching his stomach, as Yo-chan stands over him with a syringe-like object. The blonde woman, with a bandage on her chin, cries out Eiji's name. She tells him she heard everything about him from Yo-chan. Both Eiji and the blonde woman are distressed, repeating, "How dare you?" Her cries intensify, a raw, guttural sound. Then, a quieter, mournful sob. Eiji looks utterly shocked. Yo-chan stands behind him. He can barely form the words. He asks if it can't be Bai. Meanwhile, at a police station, Officer Momoi interrogates Yashiro Sai. She presents him with a photograph, asking if it's him. A man in a suit sits nearby, listening intently. He questions Sai about his activities on October 16th at 9 p.m., specifically with Eiji Urashima and Yoko Hatanaka. Yashiro Sai, with a slight smirk, acknowledges his name. He casually dismisses any wrongdoing, claiming they simply went for a drive for an hour. Sai states he dropped Eiji and Yoko off at home and left, knowing nothing of what happened afterward. Officer Momoi's expression hardens. She accuses him of forcing Yoko Hatanaka into prostitution. This, she explains, was through a site called Alice. It appeared to be a dating site for the rich, but it was a front for managing and selling girls to clients. Yashiro Sai, unperturbed, insists Alice is a wholesome site for lonely singles. He then makes a smug remark, suggesting Momoy join the site herself to find a rich man. Officer Momoy smiles faintly. She replies that the only catching she does is of scalawags and scum. The man in the suit wonders why Sai is so cooperative, finding him creepy. He notes that Sai is a tough nut to crack. Officer Momoy remains silent, a serious expression on her face. The man then asks about Eiji Urashima. Elsewhere, the blonde woman sniffs a cup, recalling her first encounter with Yo-chan. It was at a club event called Lust, in a VIP room. She remembers being invited to the VIP room and seeing Yo-chan there. The memory shifts to the vibrant, chaotic atmosphere of the club. She recounts meeting Yo-chan amidst the cheering crowd and celebrity sightings. She asks if the men they were with were sugar daddies. Yashiro Sai appears, showing them the A-list app. He explains it's for famous stars and trusted VIPs, all wealthy. Sai assures them it's completely safe and a way to make extra cash. The club lights flash over the dancing crowd. The blonde woman later finds herself crying, wanting to quit. Yashiro Sai appears, holding his phone, a smug look on his face. He threatens to post pictures and videos of her all over the internet. She walks away, then turns back. She asks if Eiji wants to know the trick to get through this job. There is a trick, she says, to get through it all. You have to believe everything in this world is just a lie and always keep smiling. Grin. That's how you maintain sanity in this rotten reality. Eiji looks on, wide-eyed and distressed. He realizes that's the same thing he tells himself. The blonde woman explains how she matched her clothes and accessories with Yo-chan's, imitating her every move. They became inseparable. She saw through Yo-chan's tough facade. Yo-chan was just another victim, a prisoner in that world. But Yo-chan knew the fake world of lies would end. And then she met Eiji Urashima. The blonde woman describes Yo-chan transforming into a giddy schoolgirl. She was jealous. Yo-chan, usually cool and aloof, would talk only of Eiji-kun. The blonde woman asks if Eiji remembers what he told Yo-chan when they first met. She recites his words. I will destroy your lie of a world. Yo-chan honestly believed it. She truly believed Eiji would save her from her rotten reality. But how could he? How could he protect her? The blonde woman's voice rises. Why didn't he protect Yo-chan? Eiji, distressed, asks what she means. She states that if he had protected Yo-chan, she wouldn't have been killed. She accuses him directly. He practically killed her. Eiji's mind races. He questions if the killer Nami-san mentioned, who slaughtered Yoko Hatanaka, wasn't Bai. He demands to know who the killer is. The blonde woman looks at him seriously. She reveals the date, October 16th. That's the day Yo-chan went missing. They were supposed to meet, but Yo-chan never showed. She had texted that she was meeting one of her daddies. Eiji is surprised by the term. The blonde woman clarifies it's what they call their prostitution clients. Yo-chan was supposed to be done a little after 11 p.m. The blonde woman knew something was wrong. She called at 11:30 p.m., but the call was cut short. The last contact from Yo-chan was at 10:15 that night. Eiji looks down, confused. He doesn't know who that daddy guy is. The blonde woman says she kept calling, but it always went to voicemail. That person, that daddy guy. He was the last person to see Yo-chan. Eiji looks at her, his face grim. That would make him Yo-chan's killer, right? Eiji stares, wide-eyed, as the words sink in. The last person who saw Yo-chan. Nami looks at him, her expression serious. She asks if he told the police about this. Of course not, she insists, her voice tight with fear. Skull would kill her if she snitched. She reminds Eiji that he knows how ruthless Skull's people are. Rie, Yo-chan's cousin, steps forward, her expression grave. She points out that the police should have contacted Nami after checking Yo-chan's phone history. Eiji quickly introduces Rie, explaining that she's Yo-chan's cousin and they're working together to find the killer. Nami, still thoughtful, explains that she and Yo-chan used burner phones from Skull. These phones are anonymous, untraceable by the police. Eiji asks Nami why she chose to confide in him if she couldn't tell anyone else. Nami looks at him, her expression softening. She tells him he's a good person. She remembers when her boyfriend Hiro-kun was being tortured at Lust. Eiji had told Hiro-kun to scream, to make noise, so they wouldn't hear Eiji's plan to save him. He promised to stop the torture, telling Hiro-kun to pretend to faint. Nami is grateful, because of Eiji. Hiro-kun is alive. She was surprised by his bravery, knowing deep down he was a good person. Eiji, embarrassed, apologizes for blaming her for Yo-chan's death. He thanks her. Nami tells him that Yo-chan cared about him more than anyone. She hopes Eiji will be the one to avenge her death. Eiji asks Nami if she knows anything about Yo-chan's client, the daddy figure. Nami remembers Yo-chan mentioning she'd caught a big fish. Eiji considers the Elise site, a members-only platform where clients' identities are hidden. Only occupation, age range, and income are visible. It's impossible to find Yo-chan's client that way. Ri suggests that Yo-chan's client list or work history must be stored somewhere within Skull. She points out that Lust's office, only accessible to higher-ups, is the most likely place. Eiji realizes he has to go back to Lust. He declares his determination. Then, in a sudden shift, he tries to lighten the mood, suggesting they play Mario Kart. As they walk through the city, Eiji adjusts his cap, ready to move. Suddenly, Rei kicks his leg. He falls to the ground, yelling at her. Ri looks down at him, serious. She asks if he's thinking of infiltrating Lust right now. Eiji, still on the ground, retorts that he has a plan. He explains his hypothesis. His personality only changes when he wakes up from sleep. So, as long as he stays awake, B1 won't appear. He adds, with a touch of uncertainty, I hope. He hasn't slept all night and believes he can stay awake for another 24 hours. He insists he must take the initiative. He won't let B1 run wild using his body. Ri kicks him again. She tells him 24 hours isn't much time. It's foolish to rush into the unknown without preparation. They need a foolproof plan. Then, they can infiltrate Lust. Later, Eiji finds himself inside Lust, a club filled with a raucous crowd. He approaches a table where Dodo, Sawai, the undercut man, and another man are playing poker. Dodo, one of Skull's higher-ups, greets him. Sawai, another boss, is also there. Eiji asks if these two are the only leaders present. Sawai tells him that Sai isn't there. The police have him, questioning him about the Yoko Hataoka case. Eiji is surprised. This means the police know about Yo-chan selling her body for Skull. He announces he's going to the bathroom. Dodo tells him they'll deal him a hand when he gets back. Eiji smiles and agrees. He walks past a staff-only sign and a barrier. He peeks into a dark room. It's the office. As he moves down the hallway, he spots a growling dog in a cage. He sneaks past it. The office door is locked, requiring a keycard. He finds a keycard, but before he can use it, a voice calls out. It's Okawa, another higher-up, demanding to know what he's doing there. Eiji is shocked. He hadn't accounted for another boss. He nervously claims he's lost, looking for the bathroom. Okawa directs him to the first floor. Eiji realizes there are now 3 bosses he needs to get past. He stares at the office door, wondering how he'll ever slip inside. The club pulses with light and sound, a chaotic backdrop to the quiet tension around a poker table. Eiji-kun is losing, badly. His companions, the bearded man and Sai, watch him, their expressions unreadable. He's $4,000 in the red. Eiji-kun is shocked, distressed, barely able to form words as the dark-haired man in jacket and light-haired man in white shirt suggest he pull out. He agrees, the weight of his losses making him sway. As he walks away, the other men openly discuss his tell. He blinks more than usual when he's bluffing. Kashiwagi calls him a sucker. Eiji-kun is left to blame himself. He walks away from the table, head down, then pulls out his phone. A text message appears on the screen. It's from someone named R. The message reads, I've deciphered the lock. We'll be using lock bumping to get in. Use key 3. A faint smile touches Eiji-kun's lips, but then his right hand begins to shake. He grabs his own wrist, trying to steady the tremor. He asks the bartender for water. His face is etched with distress, sweat beads on his brow. The bartender, noticing, asks if he's all right. Soon, Eiji-kun is with the short-haired woman, A. They are preparing for a break-in. She hands him a special key, labeled 3. This is for lock bumping, a simple technique, she explains, that can open a lock in seconds. You insert the bump key, then carefully knock it with a hammer. The light impact jolts the cylinders inside, and the lock snaps open. Eiji-kun asks where she got such a specialized tool. She tells him it's from her burglar uncle, custom made. The target is the office lock. Eiji-kun runs, determined. He reaches the office door, clearly marked "Do Not Enter." He stands in the hallway. The distant club noise, a dull roar. He fumbles with the keys. They slip from his grasp. They scatter across the floor. One bends. Another slides into a grate. Lost. Eiji-kun is horrified, desperate. He tries to recover, his face contorted in distress. He grabs a key, a small hammer. He hits the lock. It clicks. He's in. Inside the office, a small dog sits in a cage. He puts his hand to his ear, connecting with A. I got into the office, somehow. I'm going to search it now. Instructs him to find anything related to Yoko Hatanaka's daddy, a client list, work history. Eiji-kun hurries to the computer. It needs a password. Skull. He can't get in. He finds a safe, then a filing cabinet. Both have digital locks. He doesn't know any passwords. He searches through stacks of papers, but finds nothing relevant. Then, he spots it, a single locked cabinet, the only one in the office. He takes a picture of the lock, sending it to A. It's a rotating disc cylinder. He asks if she knows how to pick this kind of lock. A explains it will take about 10 minutes. It requires a melting solution. He'd have to pour it into the hole and destroy the cylinders inside. It would snap the lock open, but it would destroy the lock. They would know someone was snooping around. Asks him if he's sure he wants to do this. What are your thoughts? Suddenly, Eiji-kun hears something. He looks back towards the office door. Kashiwagi is on the phone, walking towards the office. He's talking about getting food from the office fridge. For the dog, Sai. Outside, A kneels by the small dog, Sai, covering her mouth. She tries to warn Eiji-kun. Kashiwagi reaches the door. He opens it. Eiji-kun's face twists in pure, unadulterated shock and distress. Kashiwagi is right there. He's opening the office door. Eiji-kun is frozen, utterly shocked and distressed. An off-panel voice warns him, Sumyun's coming. Keys jingle. Eiji-kun is trapped. There's no way out. He's forced to call for Plan F, a desperate measure. The short-haired woman on the other end is incredulous, asking if he's insane. But Eiji-kun insists there's no other choice. The result will be the same regardless. Kashiwagi reaches for the doorknob. He turns it. He steps inside. A silhouette against the bright office lights. Eiji-kun is terrified, hidden somewhere, urging someone named Shin Miyoji to hurry. Kashiwagi walks deeper into the office. He looks around, calm, unaware that Eiji-kun is hiding just beneath a desk. He reaches down, his hand passing dangerously close to Eiji-kun's hiding spot. Then, a blaring alarm. The bearded man and Sai are shocked, asking what's going on. Fireworks explode indoors, filling the room with bright flashes and smoke. Chaos erupts as sprinklers drench the office. Kashiwagi shouts, demanding to know what's happening, as someone explains a timer was set on the fireworks. Amidst the pandemonium, the short-haired woman remains calm. She confirms, Plan F worked. You've got all the time in the world. Eiji-kun, holding a small smoking firework, grins. He thanks the short-haired woman's pyrotechnician grandfather for the specially made small-scale fireworks. He's impressed by her family, which also includes a burglar uncle. Outside, water drips from the sprinklers, forming puddles on the floor. Kashiwagi watches as a person in a white hoodie finds another cylindrical object, another firework. The bearded man is annoyed, calling it an elaborate prank, and demanding to know who's responsible for bag checks. Kashiwagi looks around, serious. He asks where Eiji-kun is, but no one knows. He returns to the office door, marked with a "Do Not Enter" sign. He notices a strange smell. He looks closer at the keyhole. It's melted. His expression hardens. He pulls out a camera. He opens the compartment. He presses eject. The SD card slot is empty. It's gone. He stares, wide-eyed, at the empty slot. Suddenly, Eiji-kun is in a different setting, a bar with the short-haired woman, Sai, and bearded man. Kashiwagi is there too, looking down at Eiji-kun. He tells Eiji-kun he should pull out. Eiji-kun insists Kashiwagi is the one learning. Kashiwagi's gaze is intense. He says he didn't. The scene shifts again, to a karaoke bar. Eiji-kun, wearing a cap, asks why they had to meet there. The short-haired woman explains it's soundproof, and she could sing while waiting. She asks if the risk was worth it. Eiji-kun is distressed, knowing Skull will be after him now. He holds up the stolen SD card, labeled 32 gigabytes. They examine the contents, Eiji-kun speculating the photos are for insurance or blackmail. The short-haired woman reveals Skull was secretly taking pictures of clients with escorts. Among the photos, they find Yoko Hatanaka. She's always with the same man. All the photos are from early October, just weeks before she went missing. That man's name is Shoto Shirabishi. Eiji-kun is surprised, realizing this must be the daddy they're looking for. He asks the short-haired woman if she knows him. She types furiously on her laptop. A name appears on the screen, Rin Shirabishi. She died at 18, a victim of the LL murders. The short-haired woman is stunned. What? Eiji-kun is wide-eyed, asking how. The screen details Rin Shirabishi's disappearance, her identification as an LL murder victim. Her mother, Maya, hung herself from grief. The only survivor of the Shirabishi family is her father, Shoto. Eiji-kun's voice is a whisper. Is the daddy they're looking for the father of one of the girls his own dad killed 15 years ago? The screen shows a Shirabishi family photo. Shoto, Rin, and Maya smiling at an entrance ceremony. He's one of the victims' family. A close-up of Shoto and Rin, smiling. The man they're hunting is a grieving father. A survivor of the very tragedy Eiji-kun is trying to understand. The investigation into Shoto Shirabishi begins. He's the man whose daughter was killed by the infamous serial killer, LL. And now, he's suspected of murdering Yoko Hatanaka. Eiji and the dark-haired girl are trying to understand his motive. Is it revenge? But Eiji questions this, pointing out that LL doesn't exist anymore. What kind of revenge would copycat a killer who's already gone? The dark-haired girl insists they need to find Shoto Shirabishi and hear the truth directly from him. She quickly finds his information online. He's a professor at K University. They might even be able to see him today. Meanwhile, Sai is on the phone, receiving an update about a break-in. Only an SD card was stolen, nothing from the safe. Sai concludes that Eiji Urashima must be the culprit. His associate, the bald man with earrings, agrees. Eiji is also involved in an attack on their men. The bald man reveals that Yoko Hatanaka was the one who introduced Eiji to him. He explains that the recent traitor hunt was also a test for Eiji. Sai is furious, demanding to know why Eiji wasn't stopped sooner. But the bald man reminds him, Eiji is the son of LL. He's already got a plan brewing for Eiji. It's Tuesday, November 8th. Eiji and the dark-haired girl are at K University, preparing to confront Shirabishi. They split up to cover both entrances of Building 12, where his lab is located. Shirabishi usually arrives at 8 a.m. Eiji, having been awake for over 40 hours, struggles to stay alert. His phone rings. It's his dad. Meanwhile, Eiji's parents are being questioned by the formal man and woman in suits. They tell Eiji's parents that he isn't answering their calls. The formal man asks them to report if Eiji commits them back. Eiji's parents ask if he's suspected of any crimes. The formal man can't say for now, but he believes Eiji is certainly involved in a case. Shoto Shirabishi, also present, confidently states Eiji wouldn't do anything illegal. The formal man then turns to Shirabishi. He reminds him that 15 years ago, Shirabishi placed the same trust in Makoto Hachinoi, Eiji's biological father. Shirabishi was Hachinoi's probation officer. The formal man warns Shirabishi not to make the same mistakes. Eiji's parents interject. He's their son. He's Eiji Urashima. They insist there isn't a parent in the world who wouldn't believe their child. As Eiji's parents leave, Eiji's mother is on her laptop. She's crying. Online forums are buzzing with rumors. The abduction and murder of the girl is being called an LL copycat case. And the culprit? LL's very own son. The cops have him marked. The posts claim. Eiji realizes it's past 8 a.m. Shirabishi is nowhere to be found. Suddenly, a hand grabs Eiji's shoulder. It's the formal man in the suit. He looks distressed. He asks Eiji why he's here. Didn't Eiji say they shouldn't meet for a while? Then, the formal man asks a chilling question. Did someone find out that we did it? Eiji walks with Kashiwagi, discussing their disguise and the possibility of being discovered. Kashiwagi grabs Eiji by the collar, his face etched with alarm. He fears they've been found out. Eiji, startled, asks if they killed Yoko Hatanaka. Kashiwagi is furious, clarifying they were talking about the 60 million they stole from Skull, not murder. He reminds Eiji of their shared goal, to crush Skull. Eiji, confused, asks why they stole the money. Kashiwagi insists he was just following Eiji's orders, that Eiji devised the plan. He recounts Eiji's words, I want to crush Skull. Eiji had told him, in order to save Yoko, we have to destroy Skull. Kashiwagi had wanted to contact the police about Yashiro Sai, but Eiji had told him to wait. Eiji is shocked by this revelation. He asks who they were supposed to arrest. Kashiwagi states clearly, Yashiro Sai, as a suspect for Yoko Hatanaka's murder. Eiji, sweating and distressed, insists they must contact the police before things worsen. He asks what happened the day Yoko Hatanaka went missing. Kashiwagi looks at him seriously. He points out Eiji's strange behavior, as if he has amnesia and remembers nothing. Eiji's head pounds. He realizes he needs to fake his memory loss to get information. Eiji clutches his head, pretending it hurts, claiming Skull tortured him and caused his memory to blur. He even claims they hit him with a crowbar, which is why he can't remove his hat. Kashiwagi accepts the lie, refocusing on stopping Skull and Yashiro Sai. Eiji agrees, still not fully understanding, but desperate for his memories of that day. Kashiwagi begins to recount the night of October 16th, after 10 p.m. He confirms he met Yoko Hatanaka at their usual secret spot, the YM Hotel in Tokyo. But that night, Eiji was also there. He says Yoko Hatanaka had told Eiji about him, probably calling him a creepy old man trying to pry for information. In a flashback, Daum is being choked, struggling to speak. Daum reveals he was investigating Skull because they had inherited the will of LL. the serial killer from 15 years ago. LL was known for cruel murders and running prostitution rings, targeting girls he managed. With LL's suicide, the investigations stopped, and the truth about his client list disappeared. Dom, enraged, shouts that he's been chasing that client list for 15 years, and it led him to Skull. He vows revenge, to make them pay for using his daughter. AG realizes that Shirabishi's daughter was also a victim, explaining why LL only murdered girls who sold their bodies. Kashiwagi continues, explaining that AG had started to trust him after hearing his story. That's when he decided to work with AG. AG wonders if Shirabishi doesn't know he's LL's son, because he wouldn't work with him otherwise. Regarding Yoko Hatanaka, Kashiwagi says she left the hotel room early to meet a friend. He and AG stayed to discuss plans to investigate Skull's connection with LL. After their meeting, Kashiwagi went to the underground parking garage. There, he saw it. His hand was covered in blood. A cracked smartphone lay on the ground, displaying an incoming call from Nami-san. Yoko Hatanaka was on the ground, covered in blood. Standing next to her, dragging his leg, was Yashiro Sai. Kashiwagi confronts Yashiro Sai. Sai responds with aggression. Kashiwagi covers his mouth, distressed. He then shows AG a video on his phone. It's a man's back, tattooed with a cross and the words, "I shall kill again." AG stares, horrified. Yashiro Sai is the killer. Kashiwagi explains hybristophilia, the idolization of criminals, and how Yashiro Sai is following in LL's footsteps. He lists the connections: prostitution rings, crimes against his girls, torture, and even the name Skull itself. Skull is a homage to LL. Kashiwagi reminds AG that he was the one who pointed out the tattoo. AG looks at the phone, confused. The words on the tattoo, "I shall kill again," twist in his mind. They become, "LL will kill again." Then, Skull. AG is shocked. He finds a ripped piece of an ear in his possession, a part of the victim that only the killer should have. His other self, Bai, knew about this. Bai had infiltrated Skull to investigate their connection to LL. AG believes he has enough proof to turn over to the police, hoping everything will finally end. His phone rings, it's Kashiwagi. AG dismisses the call, but then receives a video message from Kashiwagi. AG watches the video, his face contorting in shock and distress. The video shows Kashiwagi, the man in uniform, in a convenience store, being interrogated by other Skull members. The man with light-colored, short, spiky hair and Yashiro Sai demand Kashiwagi shut off the cameras. They question Kashiwagi about Eiji Urashima, but Kashiwagi denies knowing him. Yashiro Sai, another Skull member, begins to torture Kashiwagi. He dangles a live rodent over a deep fryer. Kashiwagi is terrified, tears streaming down his face. Yashiro Sai demands to know where Eiji lives, if he has siblings or family. Kashiwagi, gagging and retching, is forced to reveal information about Eiji's girlfriend. Yashiro Sai then speaks directly to Eiji through the video. He reveals Kashiwagi told them everything about Eiji's kind adoptive parents. Eiji is hunched over, distressed. Yashiro Sai then mentions Eiji's precious little girlfriend, Kyoka Yukimura. He wants her to work for him. Eiji's eyes are wide with terror. Yashiro Sai, feigning a broken heart, threatens Eiji. He promises to shatter everything Eiji loves.